It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to the Hazleton Area School District Report. Remember, my friends, I appreciate it. We're doing this show for 40 years. Going into 7,000 shows, and appreciate very much on that survey, that scientific survey, where you said, over 90% of you said, the reason why you watch the Sam Lesante Show is because you trust me. And I appreciate that very much. That's very humbling, and I want to continue that trust, and we bring as much information to you as possible. Now, today's show is going to be interesting because we're looking at the Hazleton Area School District, probably one of the top in the state of Pennsylvania. Great administrators, great teachers, great aides. I mean, that's not any bull, but it's factual. $250 million they're managing. But sometimes when we're doing these shows, we have Brian on, we have different people on, and the question is, Sam, how come they have so many assistant superintendents? What do you need them for? Well, today we have them here, and we're going to talk about their duties and responsibilities and find out why it's so critical to have not only assistant superintendents, but people who are qualified. So I want to welcome, of course, our superintendent, Brian Uplinger. Brian, thanks for bringing the crew with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having all of us.
And I want to thank Bob Mehalick, who is the assistant superintendent of student services, Dan Rodgers, assistant superintendent of human resources, and Patte, right? Who is assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction. What is a superintendent's job?
What isn't a superintendent's job? There's so many different facets of my position. Even when I was in smaller districts, the hats are pretty much the same, but they're multiplied in smaller districts. But here, I'm in charge of everything, and the basically saying the buck stops here. You know, other than the board, of course. But there's so many different things that you know, I'll deal with on a district level that's necessary to keep the district running.
Okay, so you mentioned the board, all right? So as a former chairman of the Luzerne County trustees, I realize what a board is supposed to be doing. We set our policies, right, and then we expect the administration to follow the policies.
Correct. Yes.
We do not run, but we want to make sure that it is properly run.
Correct.
Unfortunately, throughout the years, many boards felt that they should come in and run, okay, and that's where the chaos came. So it's critical to have, in my estimation, board members who understand and have a good objective in mind, okay?
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer to election. I hope people are not going to be fooled by popularity, but by people who could come in and help the administration,
Yes.
okay? So once that's done, you could do your job, okay?
Right.
The second thing is when you're looking at, you said you're in charge of everything, you need assistance. We're looking at $250 million. Of course, 80% of that, as we discussed, is basically fixed already.
Correct.
Okay, so 20% of that's a lot of money that has to be controlled, and we have building programs, et cetera. Do you feel that is necessary in the Hazleton Area School District to have as many assistants as we have?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, and many times, we're huge, and we continue to get larger every day. We're close to 14,000 students now. We have 16 schools. In a few years, we'll have 17 schools. But yes, there are different things that other folks need to help with. It's not that I can't do it, not that I don't want to do it, it's just don't have the time to do it. So that's where these gentlemen come in and assist in those different areas. They help with human resources, curriculum and instruction, and student services, among other things that fall under their purview. Again, you know, obviously I'm in charge of everything, but they have their own areas that they take care of as well.
When we're looking at people who have a passion for what they do, these three gentlemen have a passion, and that's important. So let me start with the person I've known for many years, Bob Mehalick. Bob, it's nice to see you.
Great to see you too, Sam.
And you know, the interesting thing about you, Bob, I don't think sometimes people really understand what you're bringing to the table. You know, you were a superintendent. You were on the board, so it's interesting because you have all these perspectives and knowing all of the ins and outs of what goes on. Sometimes it's frustrating. I could imagine that, knowing these things and how you approach them. So as the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, what does that comprise of?
Yeah, well, Sam, let me begin by thanking you and SSP TV for 40 years of bringing so much tremendous, important information to our community, and the support you've provided to our district specifically. You really have been something else, and hopefully this continues for the next 40 years. And I do appreciate mentioning the experience. I could recall 2009 driving to work. I was the director of Special Education and Student Services at Southern Columbia. I'm driving to work with a gentleman I just met about 3 months earlier by the name of Dan Rodgers. I never knew him before that. We grew up in the same area, but I'm a little younger than him, so I didn't get an opportunity to hang with him. But we were driving, and I shared with him the one morning, I remember it specifically, that I wanted to one day be a superintendent. And he said, well, you need to learn as much as there is to learn about school operations. And that's really what motivated me to run for the Board of Education, the Hazelton Area School District. 2009, Mr. Rodgers, planted that seed. I did, and it really did provide me with such insight in what it takes to be a school leader to the highest extent. So served 12 years on the Board of Education, continued my education, continued my profession, was superintendent in 2 previous school districts, and when the opportunity opened up, for this position, I of course was just flattered to even be considered, and so grateful once I was provided the opportunity. The position oversees all student services, which encompasses special education. In the Hazelton Area School District, we are one of the largest special education departments in the state of Pennsylvania. We have right now 34 primary autistic support classes, and those are full-time classes for students who truly need the most advanced programming in autism. And we have 2,500 students that have IEPs or some sort of special need that requires special instruction. In addition to special education, I oversee early intervention. The Hazelton Area School District oversees early intervention for the entire Luzerne County. So that's 1,450 students, but encompassing the whole county. So we go up into, Wilkes-Barre and Pittston, and even up into the Tunkhannock Area School District. So that's a pretty large responsibility as well. And then your alternative program, your cyber programming, all that falls under student services, counseling and mental health services. It's a large, large responsibility. And with that, I have tremendous support. Jeff Weed is the Assistant Director of Special Education, does a phenomenal job. We have supervisors underneath him. Mr. James Becker is our Supervisor of Early Intervention. He does a tremendous job. Just coming on board, he's being acclimated with the position. Then we have coordinators underneath him. It is a pretty big, if you look at our organizational chart, it's large. But then when you look at the programming that Hazelton area, has implemented, especially under the direction of Dr. Brian Uplinger, it's phenomenal. Over 13,000 students, but it's the programming that takes place in that. And we know we're doing great things for our students. The community, we know, appreciates it, but we've got to do more. We've got to do better every day, and that's what we strive. I know this team here does, and all the members of our administration and professional and paraprofessional staff behind us. Everyone is striving to do better for our students and our community.
Robert, you hit the nail on the head when you said we got to do better. It's not that you're doing bad, but I remember my good friend Jack Palance, who I worked with for 32 years, but I did a show, and I called him up and I said, did you see the show? Yeah, I saw the show, Sam. I said, okay, well, I thought it was great. He said, well, now let me tell you. He said, now, how could you make that show 10% better? I said, geez, I think it was, no. He said, what do you think you can make it 10% better? And I thought, well, wait a minute, I could have done this. So you're always fine-tuning as to what you could do. And that's what I appreciate about when you put together a team. It's so vital to be able, like he needs assistance, you need assistance. And you know, we do have, you know, we're blessed. I know when people get their school tax bill, there's, oh my God, okay. But you know, the thing is, thank God we have the administration and the board, a decent board, are able to have fiscal management that those taxes not double that because of of ignorance. Okay, Dan, how are you?
Very well. How are you today?
I'm sorry you have to work with Bob, but we have to. We all have
Thank
our
you.
crosses.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Dan, you're the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction. So
Yes.
tell me about what your duties and responsibilities are.
So actually, I'm in charge of human resources. So
Oh, I'm
Dr.
sorry.
Patte is in charge of
See, I'm
curriculum.
giving him your
Yeah,
job.
that's okay. I think we mixed the seats up on you there
Yeah,
a little bit.
okay.
But anyway, just thank you again for having us
My pleasure.
today, Mr. Lesante, and everything you do for our community. So thank you. I do recall that conversation I was having with Bob back in 2009. The only thing I don't remember is he being younger than me. But with that aside, you know, I think we have a great team here, you know, obviously under the leadership of Dr. Uplinger and our board. We also have a great business office led by Mr. Krasansky as well that I think does a very good job for the district. But in terms, so one of the slogans that we use every day is check the ego at the door.
Yes.
Right? So we have a great group right here. We get along really, really well and work well together. And, you know, it's not about us. It's about, you know, or I should say it's not about it's about the team and the district in general. But, you know, in relation to my duties, so I oversee the primary responsibilities of the Human Resource Department. We have a department right now of myself. We have Jess Barrett, Cindy Ayers, which handles a lot of the employee benefits. And then we have Nicole Veet and Tammy Williams that does a lot of the onboarding of new employees. And then we have Samantha Neiman as well. So right now there's over 1,800 employees in the Hazleton Area School District. So obviously that's one of the largest employers in the area. We take pride in that. You know, of the 1,800 employees, there's over 900 teachers, professional staff. So that's a lot of folks. As compared to last year, last year at this time we had about 1,700 employees and about 850 teachers. So we're up. We're up about 100 employees over last year, and that's due to our district continuing to grow. In addition to managing all of those folks and the needs of those folks, we also manage the collective bargaining units. So we have multiple collective bargaining units within the district. Right now we have pretty good labor stability. We just approved a teacher's contract this past year along with the support of the board. We are working on a support staff agreement right now. So we manage those contracts accordingly. Our security, we have a security bargaining group. We also have a school police officer group, and we have an Act 93 agreement as well as Teamsters for our maintenance staff. So we manage quite a bit. We oversee all the hiring within those various departments. We manage the grievances. Anytime there's any kind of grievances associated with any of our employees that they feel that they have a right to something that maybe the district's not providing them. And we work closely with Attorney Slusser's office in terms of, the legalities of those agreements as well. Yeah.
Patte, okay, I gave you Dan's position there from Assistant Curriculum Instruction, okay? Particularly, what do you do, Pat?
So just again, Mr. Lesante, thank you for inviting us today, giving us the opportunity. It's great to see what you do in our community. Again, my facet of the district is in charge of curriculum instruction for the districts, providing curriculum for the teachers to teach, providing instructional materials as far as books and different programs that we have available. It's great that Brian gave us numerous initiatives to install for many opportunities for our kids. I think we have great opportunities, including a JROTC program. We have our Arts and Humanities School. We have our STEM school. We have our Career Center. We have co-op opportunities. We have internship opportunities. And then also in the lower grades, we create curriculum that is consistent throughout the district and trying to get those kids meet their needs whatever way we can, whatever way we have to, as far as starting our newcomer center for those students who are new to the country to try to get them, engulfed into our educational process and help them and support them as best as possible. So under me, I have all the teachers and the principals, the administration, and it's great to see that our administration works so great together within the buildings. And Dr. Uplinger, since he's come, has created a great family institute. We all speak every day about we help each other out. Everybody has an open door policy. People aren't afraid to ask questions or ask for support. And it's become a great, great opportunity. And our kids feed off that, because you can see our kids, when there's situations, they're not afraid to ask for help from a teacher, an administrator, or anyone within our district.
You're so right, and I see that. I see that from Brian down. Okay, and right now I think we have a great board. They mean well. I'm hoping that we have the election comes up, and I'll be addressing some of those board members on this show, because for 40 years, my friends, I've seen a lot of people. I've seen politicians who've lied to our people constantly. I've seen great politicians. I've seen phonies, and I think when you as many shows as I've done, I've earned the right to say, look, you're really lying to these people, all right? And I'm going to come after them pretty heavy. And I'm going to come after these people who are running for office, who just have personal agendas and are going to interrupt what we have going here, okay? I think that's critical. We have a great board. We have a great administration. Our students are great. Our teachers are fantastic. I really mean it. I know we have a couple, you have them all the time, but you have a lot to be proud of, and I think that's great. And I'm not just saying that. If it was sucked, I tell you, as Bobby knows me. Friends, I'm talking to the administration. You've said it. What do they do? Well, you found out what they do, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. We come back, I want to find out what the challenges are now. What are some of the biggest challenges we have to overcome? But as they said, it's a team. And I love that idea. Check the ego at the door. Wow, that's critical. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. It's the Hazleton Area School District Report, and we have the full administration here today. Our Superintendent Brian Uplinger, Dan Rodgers, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Bob Mehalick, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, and Patte, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction. Brian, what right now is the biggest challenge that you face?
Oh boy, enrollment. Enrollment is huge, and it continues. And to Mr. Rodgers' point, we're always increasing the number of staff members we have, regardless of it being teachers, paraprofessionals, maintenance, security, what have you. We always have to increase that staff to meet the needs of all of our students. So I would say enrollment, and the next item would be space. Where are we going to put the children that come? And that's one huge thing that we're working on now. We've done some renovations to prior building, or to current buildings that allowed for additional space, closing our pools, remodeling our libraries, additions. We're out here at the mall, things like that. We're just spreading our footprint out because we have to. We have students coming in every single day. But I want to point out that I did not pay them to say all the nice things about me. So, but no, it is a family. Yeah. It truly is.
And I know you all agree to disagree. Bob, what do you see as the biggest challenge?
Well, without question, Sammy, it is space. Okay, and specifically with special education, each year, we talked about early intervention. So those are students 3 to 5. Well, those 5-year-olds from early intervention, then they transition to school age, okay, which is kindergarten. And each year we're opening 4 or 5 additional autistic support classrooms. Those are full-time classrooms, need to be a regular size classroom. And right now we have 34 of those. And that's really, this year we had to move 3 of our EI programs down to the YMCA. Now, thank goodness we had the YMCA, but we just opened the academy a year ago. Now we had to, take 3 of those classrooms, move them down the Y so we could open up 3 autistic support classrooms at the academy. It's space, and right now we're projected to need another 4 classes for next year coming in at the kindergarten.
Boy, you're lucky you have the Laurel Mall here.
The Laurel Mall has been obviously a godsend for us.
If we didn't have it, you really have some serious problems.
Absolutely.
Dan, what do you see as the biggest challenge?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, I think space is number one. With the students coming in. But from my perspective, in our department, the HR department, finding qualified candidates, for positions, primarily, our professional staff. So, Dr. Patte does a great job along with our department in terms of, finding and trying to recruit some professional staff to fill some of these positions or these new positions due to our increase of students. So our department does attend various job fairs and recruiting efforts across the state of Pennsylvania in order to try to, lure some of these talented new graduates coming out of school to the Hazleton area. So I think that's and not only professional staff, all staff for that matter. So that's our challenge all the time is qualified candidates.
Doctor, what do you think?
And I think to feed off Mr. Rodgers, is the next part is that once we get that staff, is getting the resources they need to teach our students, getting them involved, support our students correctly, making sure they feel a safe environment, make sure our schools are safe, make sure the instructional materials, make sure they get the professional development that is needed to, do the best for our students.
Patrick, you hit something as Brian and I talk about is are we getting our fair share from the state of Pennsylvania? Okay. And you've said no.
No.
Okay. So what bothers me and troubles me is the fact is that we have a district that shines in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, when you look at facts, not bull, but facts, Hazleton Area School District is right up there thanks to everybody. Teachers, aides, assistants, secretaries, everybody. Now, as a politician, I don't understand why we cannot get our fair share. Okay. Now I know we have representatives are fighting for us, and a state senators fighting for us, but I still don't know what the problem is. All right. If someone out there could tell me, politicians, why there's a problem, why the Hazleton Area School District cannot get their fair share, please email me, sam@ssptv.com, and tell me that, Sam, this is the reason why. I think it's unfair. I think all we're asking for that word fair. Okay. We have a new program, you said. Let's talk about the new program.
We do. So we're working on the application right now for an alternative education program that will service our grades 9 through 12. And those are for students that may have various situations to try to overcome. And they may not be that traditional student that would work in a cyber academy or in our traditional classrooms. So we're building this program to run adjacent to our current programs during the day, during the school day, but have a little bit of both, have a little bit of in person and a little bit of online to try to meet the needs of those students. Some of them may be students that were expelled for whatever reason. They may need credit recovery. They may need some personal attention more than what we can give in the traditional setting, if you will. So that application is in process right now. We have to submit it to the state, get approval from them. We did have the state come in last week and look at the space that we're going to possibly put the program in. Very impressed with the program and the direction that we're going. So we're excited about that opportunity as well.
Where do you guys get your feedback from, Bob?
Our families, our parents. I mean, our parents and guardians, and that is really, to me, the most important. Are they happy with the programming that we're providing them? Do they see progress in their children? But we look for that. We need that. That's very, very important.
Danny, what do you see? Feedback? What do you get?
Yeah,
I
so
mean, I know you're in HR.
Yeah,
but-
no, well, from our employees, right? Some our employees, which many of them are parents of the district. So a lot of times, obviously, we receive feedback from our employees, obviously from our families out there in the community. And that I'm involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. So we're out on the fields and we're out on hard courts. So we get feedback from various families that way. But we're hearing a lot of positives. But to your point earlier, there's always room for improvement.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Patrick, where do you get your feedback from?
All those are correct, and we get a lot of feedback from our students. For example, we opened our arts and humanities school. There was a demand for that. We've increased enrollment by 40 to 50 kids every year in that program. And obviously next year will become a full program, which is way ahead of schedule, which is great. That means we're listening to our students and providing them every opportunity we can.
And I think, Bob, your suggestion of bringing students on is a great opportunity. I think it's great to be able to bring them on and let the public see what, the rewards that they have and hear from the students, it's always good to have fresh thinking. It's always good to throw ideas out. I know when I was are you on the board?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's every time I do the LCC report, I think of when we built
Yeah,
that college.
yeah.
It was amazing, and what it's developed to, and the agreement now you have with LCC and the Commonwealth, getting teachers, and the enrollment incidentally is going high. So working with people and just making it better every day, as Jack Palin says, make it 10% as much as you can. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. Brian, it's nice that you brought them out, and I know
Every once in a while they need some fresh
they got
air.
early this morning and it was difficult. No, all kidding aside, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
My friends, election time's coming up. There's a board of school board members are running. Let's get qualified people in there, my friends. Do not be fooled by the popularity of a person. Yes, it's good to have a personality, but they're controlling your tax dollars, and not only that, the education of our children. That's the most important thing. They said sometimes if you think education's costly, try ignorance. It's critical, and as you can see, we have a great administration team. Any questions, any comments? Sam at ssptv.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.